This is Anime vs. Manga 4, the biggest shonen we've ever had since Demon Slayer in 2019. My name is Nathan, and together with Sam, we are the Side Characters. Today, we're deep diving into one of the biggest anime releases of the year, Kaiju No. 8. Now, if you've been following the manga, you already know this story slaps, but now that season 1 of the anime has wrapped up, the real question is, did the anime do the manga justice, or did it drop the ball? You know how it goes. Whenever a manga gets adapted into an anime, something always changes. Sometimes for the better, sometimes not so much. So today, we're putting the anime and the manga head-to-head in an all-out battle to see which one comes out on top. From the character designs to the emotional depth, the way Kaiju No. 8 himself is portrayed, we've got a lot to talk about, so buckle up, because this is going to be one wild ride. Let's see if Kaiju No. 8 can survive the Side Characters showdown. Handsome in the manga, NPC in the anime, character design struggles. Let's kick things off with a topic that's hard to ignore, character designs. If you're a fan of the manga, you know that the character designs are one of its standout features. The manga's characters have this rugged, angular look that really brings out their personalities. Reno Ichikawa, for instance, sports those wild, spiky locks that make him look ready for action. Kafka Hibino has a rough, battle-worn appearance that show he's been through the ringer. And Mina Ashiro, she's got an authoritative, striking presence that commands respect. In the anime, however, things get a bit softer. Reno's spiky hair gets toned down to a more conventional style. It's like they took away his ready-to-kick-some-kaiju butt attitude and made him look like a typical sidekick. Kafka's rugged charm is smoothed out, making him look like a middle-aged dude who's trying to get by, rather than a battle-hardened veteran. Mina's intense, commanding presence is also softened, giving her a more conventional anime heroine look. And let's not overlook the kaiju designs. In the manga, Kaiju No. 10 is terrifying, with a design that makes it look genuinely menacing. But in the anime, the kaiju's design is less imposing, looking more generic and less monstrous. The shifting character and kaiju design affects how we perceive the story and its characters. The manga's designs are distinctive and memorable, while the anime's more rounded approach loses some of its original edge. Emotional depth when the anime falls short. This is where the manga truly shines. The manga captures the character's emotions with such intensity that it makes every scene feel powerful. When Mina Ashiro makes a promise to Kafka to become the coolest officer again, the manga shows her tears and the weight of her words. This scene hits hard because of how well it conveys the depth of her feelings. In the anime, though, the emotional impact is less pronounced. The tears are there, but the scene doesn't quite capture the same level of intensity. Kafka's reaction when he saves Reno Ichikawa is another example. In the manga, Kafka's fear and concern are palpable, adding depth to his character. The anime's portrayal is less intense, and while the concern is still present, it doesn't hit the same emotional notes. The fight scenes are where the anime's animation and sound design really shine. The action is slick, the fights are well animated, and the sound effects are on point. But here's the catch. The emotional weight of those battles doesn't match up. In the manga, the fight feels raw and intense, each punch and roar adding to the drama. The anime's fights are exciting, but they lack some of the emotional depth that makes the manga's battles so compelling. The slick animation is great, but it sometimes feels like it's missing the emotional punch that the manga delivers. Kaiju No. 8. Terrifying monster or Mascot? One of the most exciting aspects of Kaiju No. 8 is Kafka's transformation into Kaiju No. 8 himself. In the manga, Kafka's monstrous form is depicted as genuinely horrifying. His designs are unsettling, with creepy eyes and a gaping mouth that make him look like a creature straight out of a horror movie. This portrayal really emphasizes the monster aspect of his character. In the anime, while the transformation is still cool, it's less terrifying. The anime adds some extra details like blood and intense battle scenes to enhance the horror, but it doesn't quite capture the same level of dread. Kafka's kaiju form looks more like a battle-ready suit than a true monster, which affects how we perceive his transformation. The manga excels in depicting Kafka's monstrous nature in moments like his impactful punches and his ominous presence behind Kaiju No. 8. These scenes are powerful and effectively convey Kafka's transformation. The anime's portrayal, while visually impressive, doesn't have the same emotional impact. The horror and intensity that are striking in the manga are somewhat diluted in the anime. The anime's added scenes. Bigger, better kaiju? The anime adaptation of Kaiju No. 8 includes several added scenes that flesh out the story and add more context to certain events. For instance, in episode 6, the anime adds scenes that make the mushroom monsters look more intimidating and larger in scale. These added scenes enhance the kaiju's menacing presence and make the battle sequences more engaging. Episode 10 continues this trend with the giant kaiju bomb. The added scenes in this episode make the Kaiju bomb look even more dangerous and epic. The animation and lighting during Kaiju number 8's attack are particularly impressive, adding a dramatic flair that the manga's static panels can't quite match. The standout moment of the season is the fight between Kaiju number 8 and Isao Shinomiya. This battle is brilliantly animated, with incredible choreography and intense action sequences. The anime's depiction of this fight adds a layer of excitement and drama that is hard to replicate in manga form. The moment where Kafka falls into the abyss is particularly striking in the anime, with its dark, foreboding atmosphere adding to the scene's impact. While the anime's added scenes and enhanced animations bring a new level of excitement to the story, they also highlight some of the differences in how the story is presented. The added context and visual flair make the anime a more dynamic experience, but they also shift some of the focus away from the emotional depth that the manga excels in. Censorship. Say goodbye to the fan service. Now, let's get into something anime-only viewers might not even realize they are missing: censorship. Yep, that's right. Kaiju number 8 had its fair share of censorship in the anime. While they didn't cut out any of the brutal kaiju stomping scenes, they definitely toned down some of the more risque moments. Kikuru Shinomiya's suit, for example, is a bit more revealing in the manga, and don't even get me started on the fan service-y bath scenes with Mina. In the manga, they're, let's say, a bit more detailed. The anime has dialed back on some of this stuff, likely to keep things more family-friendly. But honestly, if you're a manga purist, you might feel a little cheated out on those extra bits of fan service. Not that Kaiju number 8 is all about fan service, but hey, it's a part of the package, right? So after all, which is better, the manga or the anime? Well, like with most adaptations, it's a bit of a mixed bag. The anime nails the action scenes, the scale of the kaiju, and adds some really cool extra moments that make the world feel bigger and more alive. But on the other hand, the manga's got the gritty, expressive art style that brings the emotions and the horror of life in a way that the anime just can't quite match. At the end of the day, whether you prefer the manga or the anime will come down to what you value more. If you're here for the monster fights and flashy animations, the anime might be more your speed. But if you're in it for the emotional depth and the raw, terrifying power of Kafka's transformation, the manga is where it's at. I love reading manga. Have a bookshelf full of the ones that haven't been adapted, and there's some incredible stories waiting to get its debut under the anime limelight. But studios are catching on more. I've had Undead Unluck, Sakamoto Days, and Dandadan on my shelves for years as my little personal collection of absolute peak shonen that others may not have heard of. But, and this is a big but, nothing beats seeing a story you love adapted into anime with passion. As hard as you can try, and if your imagination is blooming, not a lot comes close to seeing what you love in an animated format, full of color and life, hearing the voice actors of your characters and comparing it to how you thought they'd sound, hearing the booms of explosions and the thudding clashing of steel, as you see one of your favorite fight scenes on a manga page literally come to life in front of you. And Kaiju number 8 is no exception to this. Hearing Kafka's screech in his kaiju form was something I never imagined when I read it, and now gives me goosebumps to hear it done so well. So what do you think? Which version of Kaiju number 8 do you prefer? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more anime versus manga comparisons and videos.